up, y'all? How are y'all? I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. I wanted to come on here because I wanted to just share a little bit of insight. I don't know if people know if they're aware, if they care. Um, but I just wanted to share it. So, with everything that's been going on in the media, we know of Nolan Wells and this new body that was just found, and then the other body that was found, and the other body that was found, and it's either in water or it's a lynching. And the black community is well aware that a black person, if we're going to take ourselves out, it's not going to be in water, nor is it going to be in a tree. There's plenty of other ways to do it, and we'll do those ways, but we won't do anything with water or anything with a rope. Okay? So stop believing that shit, because that's what it is, shit. And the fact that y'all take the media and y'all run with it and everything that they say, instead of the actual people that are living the horrors, is crazy. Black people live the horror stories of white people every fucking day that we wake up. We go out into this world, whether it's a job, a grocery store, everywhere. We walk around in a horror story. Fucking Michael Myers. That's black people's life. They're living in America. And which is why I guess we one of our favorite horror villains is Michael Myers, I guess. See? There's always a correlation or something. But with that being said, no one finds it strange that all of these incidents are involving water or rope or both. And we all keep saying Emmett Till, Emmett Till, Emmett Till, because it is. It's 2026, but yet we're living in 1956, 1966. And my thing is, out of it all, is black Americans, African Americans are not mad enough for me, baby. And it pisses me off, really, because everybody and their mama want to holler about an ancestor. Oh, the ancestors are doing this and the ancestors are doing that. Y'all want to know what the ancestors were doing. If the ancestors tapped you on the shoulder and said, baby, we doing it. Y'all want to know. Y'all playing. Y'all playing. Y'all not really connected. Y'all not really connected to God how y'all supposed to be connected to. So y'all definitely not connected to your ancestors, baby. We are not our ancestors. And this is how I know. Our ancestors were different type. They really got out there and they squabbled. They laid down their lives. They spent time away from their families. They quit work. They quit jobs so they could go out and do the things that they had to do to protect theirs. Um. So yeah, we are not our ancestors. We're not the people that came before us. In my opinion, I think we're a little punkish, and I say that I think the whole entire country is a little punkish, and this is why. I find it very odd that we're in a time now where everybody got Twitter fingers or X fingers. Everybody has these YouTube fingers, Instagram fingers, and these influential mouths. And they let it be in front of a camera and a green screen and a ring light. And they let it talk their little talk and their freedom of speech and da 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 da. And they amendments this and they amendments that, while toting and carrying and being proud if they have to carry a firearm or if they can carry a firearm. So y'all are proud of talking shit and y'all are proud of carrying firearms. Where I grew up, that was punk shit. That's sucker shit. That's a sucker. That's sucker activities. You talking shit and you walking around with fire on you? That's punk shit to me. And I really feel like the American society is punks. Like, y'all will sit there and talk all fucking day about stuff. All day y'all say about stuff, and then turn around and say, "But I got this thing on me. I got this thing on me." That's not tough. If someone told you that's tough, that's not tough. That's fucking shit. Yeah, I said it. I do. I think that. I really do. And it's not because I don't own a gun or anything like that. It's because I think that's sucker shit. I came from a different time. I grew up differently. So it's just in general for myself. I grew up differently. Um, and I really feel though that the black community is not mad enough about all of the stuff that's happening. These aren't older people. These are young people. The death that I want to talk about today is about, I believe her name is Syria Henderson. She was 29. I'm in my mid 30s, or about to be in my mid 30s this year. She was 29. She was found hung in Florida, found hung in the back of a Dollar General, July 1st, 2026. Nolan Wells, over in Mississippi, July 4th, 2026. Mind you, at the beginning I said, I follow cases that don't get light shed on them. She died July, well, they found her July 1st. Shouldn't her death have been, like, before Nolan's got, you know? Which brings me to my next thing. The publicity that a lot of these black cases get. We all know that Nolan Wells' case is getting a lot of media and attention, as it should. But how come these other cases don't get that? Do black families have to hire Al Sharpton and Ben Crump so that they can get representation and for it to be seen? So that brings me to my next thing. What are Black American, African American lawyers, attorneys, or legal representation doing for black families when they have to go through things like this? What are y'all doing? Like, I'm not coming for y'all. I'm really just asking. Like, we know with all this, with all of the systemic racism and all of the different things that are placed upon our heads to oppress us, we know that financial means is the biggest one, which means that when one of our people dies, 9 times out of 10 that family cannot get the legal representation. If they have money, the only thing they have money for is to make sure that their family is laid to rest. They're not going to get or have that legal representation unless it's court appointed, and who wants that? Because 9 times out of 10 you're getting a new booty type of lawyer, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, but when it comes to cases like this, you want real big top dogs. And I'm saying all this because as the Nolan Wells case is going on, you see all of these retired lawyers and attorneys talking, and I'm like, so I hope that you attorneys and lawyers that's getting on this internet here, and y'all talking to these content creators, and y'all answering questions and stuff. Are y'all answering questions for families that are like the Wells family? Because there's plenty of other families, and just because they haven't reached out to you, and this is how I know that lawyers and stuff can reach out to people. Because look, I had a dude who did not like authority and would always be against authority, whatever. So he would always get in trouble for his little. And he would out, because he lived with me. He used my address, and they had my address. And every time he would get put on timeout, all of the lawyer stuff would get sent to my house. But of course, that's because he also had bonds and stuff. But I just know that it's possible. It can be possible, especially when these cases are everything is on the media. Okay, so we're in a different time. I understand that there's process and due diligence, and there's order, but we live in a different time. There ain't no damn order no more. Not when you got a full-on murder case. Or I don't censor my mouth, so I say what I say. Anyway, we got this case that's full on just meteorized or whatever, and the internet being the civilians, the people, can weigh in on it. We're not doing anything by the book no more, which is why I don't understand why people are not upset more. Y'all can only be upset on the internet at there's a cap there. At some point there's a cap when you can no longer your emotions and your all of that can no longer be seen like it's not enough. Y'all don't go outside anymore, so don't y'all think that the effect needs to be somewhere else? It's insanity when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, which is what these white people are, insane, because they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and they're racking up so much debt. And in that debt, I feel like comes an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Black folks, we don't follow the same God that they follow. We don't follow the same guidelines, the same authorities, the same higher power. We don't follow them. If anything, they follow us on stuff, but we don't follow them. So the fact that we're sitting here talking about some, oh no, 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 even though they hit us and they're killing us and all that, we can't do anything about it, no, because that God said we can't. God said we can't. I'm a firm believer and a real believer and a big believer that God believes in eye for an eye. Okay, I believe that there's no way that God is going to allow for his people, since we claim that we are his people, he's gonna let his people just sit there and be murked and we not do nothing about it. We're not, that's the thing, we're not in the 1950s, we're not in the 1960s, so we don't have to sit there and turn the other cheek the whole time, all the time. Why? See what's happening? I honestly think, and I feel like this is something that people probably feel like they can't say or they don't want to say, because I feel like a lot of people are smart and everybody's on the same page, but the thing is, people don't want to say it out loud. It's like when you're in class, right, and the teacher is teaching and they're like, everybody got that? You turn around, everybody got that? And everybody just sitting there like, yeah, but that teacher or them children know damn well they don't have it, they don't get it, they don't understand it, they just don't want to go over and hear it again and sit through it again, but they don't understand it. That's what happens in society. People understand, like and it's backwards for society. People understand, they articulate, they comprehend everything that's going on, but they won't say that, this doesn't make sense and we need to stop that. But yet keep saying, we need change, we need change. Y'all, if you're saying out your mouth that we need change, boom, that right there is the change. Duh. You don't have to wait for someone else to be the change. Be the change because you know there needs to be a change. So, in all of that, I'm saying that we seeing something that keeps happening, keeps happening, keep happening. How are we gonna stop it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what y'all waiting for. I really don't. There is no reckoning with them, no getting them to stop it. There's no gentle parenting in this situation. And I know everyone is, violence doesn't get, it just gets more violent. Maybe that's what needs to happen. I don't know. Like, I really feel like that's probably what needs to happen. You know, sometimes when they're just like, let them fight, let them get it for what, 400 years? It's just been a one-sided fight. I honestly feel like if it was to ever get to that point, we already know what side would win. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, white people would win. They probably would not. And I tell you why. Because everyone is tired of white people and their bullshit. That's why white people wouldn't win. If there was to be race war, whatever war, they would not win. They would not win. Because everyone is tired of their bullshit. And the fact that the orange man has turned on his own people or whatever those people, now they see that the white man can't be trusted. They see for themselves that the white man can't be trusted. So yeah, if it's a war that they want, baby, what did you say? It's That's no competition. You cannot compete. You cannot compete where you don't compare. This is like in boxing. Like, you need both people to be on the same weight and the same class and all. The baby, that's not it. But if you want to go, we can go. And I really feel like all of these these, I mean, these deaths in the black onto the black community by somebody. They keep saying it's the white people, still law enforcement. Some people have even said it may be their own people. It may be black people, own people doing this. Which, listen, anything is possible. Everything's not far fetched. Listen, but we know for a fact it's not us doing this to us. Why? Why? Who has time to even do that? First of all, that's a lot of fucking work. You got too much time on your hands to eat. Why? The only people that have that much time on their hands at nighttime when these are happening is who? Who's up at night while you sleeping in your bed? The police. Them the only motherfuckers that are up at night. The police, the fire department, the paramedics. Those are the only people that are up at nighttime besides the liquor store clerks. And they're not doing nothing, I'm sure. So who else is doing this? If it was, excuse me, y'all. If it was people, like actual civilians people, I'm pretty sure they would be able to tell that off the bat. There would be signs of scuffle, footprints, all of this and all of that. Because human beings, come on. These lynchings, they're perfectly done, which means these individuals are either knocked out, they're unconscious while they're being lynched, or they're already deceased. My guess is that they're unconscious already. So that way, when those white people do that heinous act, that black person suffers. And when just looking at movies, the worst way to go out is to be hung, because sometimes you don't right away. That is an act of torture. Which is why I feel in my heart that Nolan Wells and every other case is a capital murder case. We have an anti-lynching act, an Emmett Till anti-lynching act that has been signed in to Congress, into the country. It's ignored, of course, but these lynchings are capital murder cases. Emmett Till's case was a capital murder case. It was a first degree capital murder case, and white people knew that, which is why they fought the way that they did, which is why they lied their asses off, which is why they gave an all white jury, which is why they got around it and they didn't get held accountable for it. They know what kind of charges they were. They knew what they was doing. They knew what they would get in trouble. They knew this. And if you look up what a capital murder is, what the charge, all of that, you'll see what I mean and why I keep saying it's capital murder. Kidnapping was in it. If you're holding someone against their will, it's kidnap. First of all, just let you know. Torture. There, multiple. There's intent there. Just look it up, and you'll see that a lot of these lynchings, those are capital murders. And because there's no witnesses, it doesn't get classified one. It's whatever, nigga. It's not. They're first degree capital murders. Because those bodies that end up in those trees, they're either deceased before they get up there, or they're unconscious. And the moment that they wake up from unconscious, they're being hung. You wake up from being unconscious, and you're being what? White people are disgusting. Disgusting. That is what a person that's being lynched feels if they're not already deceased. And that is literally how they used to do our people back in the day, where you were either already dead, or you were on your way out to be, or you were just full on up there. Just and I don't know if people think that black people be lying, but why do we have to lie for? Even your history books don't lie. I really need for the black community, black people, if you really care about your people and you just don't want it to be just a trend that said and you really care, start acting. When you see your black people, you see a black person or black family or anyone that's African American or or melanin color, and you see that the police were in front of them, beside them, in front of them, back behind, or wherever they're surrounding, you stop. Just stop, record. You don't gotta say nothing. Just pull your phone out. Don't get too close. Don't get too far. But record. You don't send it into the media right away. You send it into someone that you trust. Someone that has a higher power that you trust. Because I feel like there are things that get sent to the media that involve black lives, but the media doesn't play them. So if you have any information that's to do with a black life, the news wouldn't be the first place to go to. The police, yes, but be mindful of what police you go to and who you give it to. If anything, I would just be mindful and just watch out for one another. You know, carry your weapons of choice that are legal to be carried, especially women, because obviously they're coming after women. And black women for sure don't play that out at nighttime. Shit, I don't even know how that's even becoming a thing for them to even be scooping up black women at night. Majority of us, we don't play that shit. We inside the house with our hair tied up, about to go to bed. Unless we do have to be outside, and it's either because we're going to work or we're coming from work, you know. But other than that, black women don't play about being outside at nighttime. So how is you getting these women? How are you getting these black women? And then hanging them up in trees behind stores that are closed. Like I said, don't nobody else be up at nighttime but the authorities. And then, of course, no good rotten people, but come on, baby. Don't nobody got time for that shit. But authorities do. And like I said, you notice how clean the crime scenes be. The crime scenes be so fucking clean. You mean to tell me Dexter out there committing crimes? And Dexter didn't even commit crimes on the bad end. I just said that because he always kept the crime scenes clean. But that exactly, there we go. Dexter kept the current, and what was he? A forensic analysis. He was a blood splatter analysis, right? And when he did do his murders, he kept the scene clean. You ain't gonna tell me the law. You ain't gonna tell me the law officials ain't doing these hangings, these lynchings. You're not gonna tell me that the KKK is not back active. They don't say that they were never, because they never stopped being. They just stopped being active. And they get active at certain points. The only time they get active is when they know that black people are trying to grow and come up. And what is that? We were having our babies are graduating, which means they're getting ready to become adults and go into the world. There's black politicians that are running for offices in different parts of Congress. Black people are waking up and we're pushing for things that we should have already been had, and things that we're not allowing to happen to ourselves and to others. We're starting to step into our power, and they're scared and they're mad, and they're starting to attack. And so now they're coming out, as they do only at nighttime. And again, back in the 50s and the 60s, who were responsible for lynchings and all the disruption at nighttime? Law enforcement. And that's the thing. So this is why they let law enforcement do it, because who's big and bad enough to go against law enforcement without getting killed or going to jail? That's why I said we are not our ancestors, because our ancestors and the people before us didn't think about none of that. They didn't care, because they did. They went and they handled what they needed to handle, and they didn't mind about sitting down. And unfortunately, they didn't mind about having to lose a life, because they knew that's what it was going to take. They knew the risk. They knew that. They knew that, and they were willing to take that risk. It's crazy that we're willing to take the risk by mouth, but we're not willing to take the risk by force. Okay, and see, that's where we fall short of being anything like our ancestors or the ones before us. Well, we have that DNA, we have those bloodlines, we have those ties, but we have not tapped into it because y'all are not y'all don't walk with the fear of God. Y'all walk with the fear of the master, the white man. That's what y'all walk with. Y'all keep saying, "I got the fear of God. I'm fear of God. I'm a man who fears God. I'm a woman who fears God." No, you don't. You don't fear God. No, you don't. You fear the white man. Because if you didn't fear the white man, you would have been turned your ass around and gave that white man a taste of his own medicine and returned it to cinder. You wouldn't be sitting here trying to creep an eggshell around the white man, trying to figure out what can we do, what solution can we gotta find a solution. No, no. The same thing y'all tell y'all children, cause I know y'all do. Everybody do. Someone hit you, hit them back. That's what y'all tell y'all children. Stop it. Why y'all don't say that to yourselves? Because we're scared, and then also we don't have the comfortability like white people, the privileges to turn around. I know this too, to turn around and do something back. We don't have those privileges because we know it ends in death, or it ends in the death of our freedom. So we're literally still, so there are no more solutions. There's no more protests. There's no more petitions. No. Nigga, what's up? What's up? That's what it is. What's up? That's what it is. Y'all seen that lady in the Walmart parking lot handle her business with that man that was walking up on her after she kept telling him, bro, it's not good. And that needs to be the answer. So whenever you're approached, you can record and call the police all you want, but we know that even with recordings and stuff, they don't do nothing. It's amazing how much technology is in this world, but yet for some reason people, it's I don't know why they want us to be in 1950s and 1960s so bad. I do know, but it's like, yo, you can still have what you wanted in the present day, but what you not gonna have is using black people as your whipping post and stuff like, that's, you don't know, you know. And I honestly feel like white people, I already know white people know that the 50s and the 60s, because they were so mad. They were so bad that they had to share everything, and they would piss them off, and they felt like that their communities were crumbling, and the economy and child, they could cry about everything and anything, but at the end of the day, they're the reason why all of the stuff fell apart. They're the reason why nothing goes right. They're the reason why everything that's wrong with this country they're the reason why. They're the reason why mental health is sky high out the window. Nobody knows what to do. They're the reason why children are not as fast as they need to be in school. They're the reason why people cannot stay employed and be employed. They're the reason why people can't own stuff. They're the reason why people don't want to own stuff. They're the reason why people don't want to have kids. They're the reason why people can't have kids. They're the reason why people are sick. They're the reason why. And y'all sit there and tiptoe around them, and they're the reason why you are struggling and you're having all of this going on, and you want to tiptoe around them to make them comfortable. It's crazy. while they're still while they're laying people down as they feel like it, as it's a fucking game, because that's what they see. It's a game to them. It's funny to them. It's fun. I was just thinking to myself, as much as they sit and infiltrate in our circles, when will we? I forgot his name, but there was the Black Klansman. It's a movie. Jordan Peele made a movie, The Black Klansman. That's a real story. It's a true story. There was a black man that infiltrated the KKK to get information to see what the fuck they was really doing. He infiltrated, and he acted like he started on the phone, over the phone with him. Started as a white man, and then eventually had a white boy go in there and act like, but he infiltrated them. It happened earlier in civilization. I forget again the name. I'm not good with names, but I know my shit. There was somebody in the political world along the lines of like W.E.B. Du Bois and all of them, among them, and Thurgood Marshall, among that group of activists and things like that, there was a black man that infiltrated the politicians, probably the Republicans, I don't know, whichever side. He infiltrated them to find like, what the fuck is y'all doing? Like, what, And then of course they found him out and stuff, but there needs to be that again. There needs to be that again. Yeah, definitely, because um they're doing something. They have something cooked up that they're doing. And if you don't believe me, you can do the research on your own. There have been boxes. There has been a box recently that they found inside of a federal building. And the box was full of KKK stuff. The box was full of hoods. It was full of newspaper clippings, and I think there was a rope, and there were some robes in there. And they were saying how fresh it looked. And it was the historian that was trying to authenticate it and all of that was like, oh, this is old. This is just a piece of history. It should really be put in a museum. And was just trying to, like, gas it up. But people were looking at like, no, this shit is fresh, bro. If this was memorabilia, if this was from the 50s or back, this would have been old and dusty looking. Like no. So, and we already know that the police force in America was created by the KKK. It was made up of the KKK. They started as patrolmen. That's what they were called. Patrolmen, whatever. The badges, literally, you can look up in actual history books too, school history books, college ones, because they don't tell you in grade school. The badges that they wear had numbers. Their KKK numbers. Their badge number. So when people go, "What's your badge number?" That's their KKK number. That's the Klansman number. So when they were their membership, because there's a membership to the Klansman, you have to get a membership to go. Like, they give you a card, a membership card, like your insurance card, and your number is placed on there like an insurance card number, and that card will get placed on these little fake ass badges that they would wear. And that's where the badge came from. You don't believe me? You can look it up. You can even look at a fucking history book. And those same patrolmen were the Klansmen. And they took it upon themselves to round up at nighttime, specifically, and get black people that simply, and again, black people don't fuck around outside unless they need to. And if they need to, it's because they're going to work or they're coming from work or they're in some type of emergency. Other than that, black folks are not outside, honey, at night. We're just not. I don't know who told people that, but that's a fucking lie. So the fact that they're literally cruising around looking for black people after a certain time of night lets you know stuff. So I'm just, if you're in the southern states, now is the time to be very, very vigilant and do your research on past history, because it's coming back, because no one is doing anything. And I know that y'all love y'all social media, but it's not helping. Also, what is not helping is y'all be talking about organizing stuff on the internet. Your enemy is on the internet. You might as well go to your enemy house, knock, knock. Hey, we're doing this. You want to come do it too? That's what you're doing. Stop trying to organize stuff on the same internet that your enemy is on. So if you do want to protest, I would only do that on a need to know basis. And then even then, you might get one that, might not be real, but I'm done rambling. There's my cue. So I'll talk to y'all later.